in getting the things that we need to change our lifestyles, achieve the things that we want to do, we need two things, okay? Two things are what we need. And what are these two things? The two things that we need are one, confidence, and two, audacity. Okay, your audacity propels your confidence to be able to go for what you want so that you can achieve what you want. When we fall short of confidence, then we don't have the audacity to say, oh, you know what, I need to ask for what I deserve. I need to push for it. I need to go after what I want, okay? And that's why I want to talk about confidence. Let's learn how we can continuously grow in confidence so that we don't fall short and we don't stop, striving and pushing through to make sure that we get what we want, and it becomes a habit. It becomes a lifestyle for you. When you grow in your confidence, it becomes a lifestyle for you. Okay, so how to be confident without faking it? How are we going to be confident? How are you going to build your confidence without faking it? Confidence as it is not the loudest of things. Okay, you don't have to be the loudest in the room to be confident. You don't have to be the most, well dressed. You don't have to be so grand in your presence, in your showing up for you to be confident. You don't need all of that. Confidence is that quiet self-trust. Quiet self-trust is confidence. That is what you need. Trusting yourself, knowing yourself so well, understanding yourself so well that you understand your identity and it doesn't shiver. You don't shake in that. And when you build that self-trust, your confidence will automatically grow. Confidence is built just like any other skill set. Confidence is a skill that you can build, that you can learn, that you can thrive and make of what makes you you. It's that inner calm that you have, understanding who you are, knowing that you can handle this. That is where confidence comes from. Because we build it, we will find things that will be challenging to us. We'll find things that we will, struggle with. But it's that voice inside of you saying, I've got this. I can manage this. I can handle this. That is where your confidence grows from. In becoming confident, I normally use a framework that helps people, and the framework is called the Core Confidence Framework. Okay, Core Confidence Framework, and that is CORE, Core Confidence Framework. And what does Core Confidence Framework stand for? Core Confidence Framework stands for the C, clarity. Okay, C stands for clarity. And when we talk about clarity, is understanding who you are, clarity about who you are, clarity about your identity. Who are you becoming? Who are you? Okay, because confidence melts when you don't know who you are. Your confidence dissolves, it disappears when you do not know who you are. Okay, when you're unsure of yourself, when you're unsure of your values, when you're unsure of your strengths, when you're unsure of your capabilities, your confidence dissolves. It runs away from you. That is why it's important for you to know who you are. Be clear on who you are. Get to know yourself so well, okay, and your confidence will grow. Your confidence, you will build it. Understand your desires, understand your boundaries, know what you want, know what you don't want, understand your values. When you understand all of these things about yourself, you will see that your confidence will grow, and no opinion from anybody anywhere will shake your confidence. Okay, so the first thing is clarity. In my Core Confidence Framework is clarity about who you are, your values, and all of these things that we talk about. Okay, because clarity, when you're clear, it reduces comparison. When you're clear about yourself, your strengths, your values, who you are, you do not have the time to compare yourself to anybody, because in that clarity you will know that you are a unique individual, okay? You are a unique individual, and in your uniqueness, nobody on the face of earth can give or do what you can do, okay? You can do similar things with other people, but no one will ever do what you do. You are you. Whatever you give is from you. So you have your portion of the earth and life, and no one else can be you. Which is why when you're clear on who you are, then you take up space. You take up space, with all of the confidence. Obviously you take up space with everything that you have. So be clear on yourself, okay, and eradicate all of those doubts about yourself, okay? When you're clear on who you are, no one else's business or success matters to you, because you are on your lane, you're doing your thing, and they are doing their thing, okay? So this is where confidence actually matters. You really do need that confidence to see the things that you want to do, see them through, to push through, to keep going, to be more of who you can actually be. So confidence really begins from true self-honesty. When you're honest with yourself, when you know what you want, when you know who you are, your confidence will grow, okay? So in the core confidence model, clarity is the first thing. Be clear on who you are. And then we move to the next thing, which is O, okay? O in the core confidence stands for ownership. And what are you taking ownership for? You are taking ownership for your story. Taking ownership for your story builds your confidence. Taking ownership for your story, because every one of us do have our stories. We do have our stories, okay? And taking ownership for that. The mistakes that have happened in our lives, the experiences that we have, the strengths that we have, the achievements, the detours, the pauses in our life. Everything that shapes you, everything that you've gone through, everything that you've seen, the things you don't want to talk about, these are part of the things that are your story. So taking ownership for every aspect of your story will help you build the confidence that you want, okay? The chapters you don't want to talk about, all of these things from your story. So when you can take ownership of your story, then you see how your confidence will expand and grow and just keep growing, okay? Because ownership turns shame into power. So those things you think make you feel or look not as worthy, those things you think they are dents in your story, when you take ownership of them and own them and embrace them as part of you and part of your life, your story expands. It becomes something that you use to empower other people. It becomes something that you use to grow and grow yourself, okay? So your story is important, and every part of your story is important. So taking ownership of your story will help you to grow in your confidence. And that's what I want you to take with you in this year. Take ownership of your story and stride even harder, okay? So that's the O in the core confidence model, okay? So shame really loses its grip when you are able to take ownership of your story. Shame loses its grip when you are able to take ownership of your story, okay? So let's move to the next one, and the next one is R, related small wins. You are able to appreciate yourself more. And let me explain this better. In life, when we do things, we don't appreciate ourselves even when we take the smallest stride to achieve anything. But once you begin to acknowledge yourself and make those little strides and begin to appreciate them, celebrate those small wins, you see how your confidence grows. Because one thing that I know is accomplishment propels confidence. accomplishment propels confidence. So every little thing that you achieve and you acknowledge that and you celebrate that begins to allow your confidence to grow. So it's not about the big leap. It's not about the huge life-changing, differences or achievements that you get to have. It's about those repeated small wins. Day by day you make little win, you achieve a small win, you appreciate that. You achieve a small win, you appreciate that. You do something little. You said to yourself you're going to start posting, and you did that first post. You appreciate that. Okay, you sent that email that you were afraid to send. You appreciate that. You sent that proposal to the company you wanted to start speaking for. You appreciate that. So those little wins, you consistently do them, get them on, celebrate them. Those are the ways that you can improve, and grow your confidence. Okay, so it's not about the big leap or the big changes that happen, or the awards and the accolades. No, it's those repeated small wins in your life. So when you make those small wins, it convinces you more. It tells your brain that perhaps I can make this happen. You don't have to wait for the big wins for you to move on. You don't have to wait for the big wins for you to start trusting yourself and growing your confidence and taking the action forward. Repeated small wins, acknowledging that and celebrating that, will allow your confidence to grow. And the last thing in the core confidence model is E, right? E. And what does E stand for? E stands for your environment. Because sometimes not having confidence, lack of confidence, is not always internal. Sometimes it's environmental. Okay? Lack of confidence sometimes is environmental, is because of the surroundings within which you are in. Because when you surround yourself with people who don't allow you to feel well about yourself, people who don't celebrate wins generally, people within which, or a circle within which ambition is not normal, okay? Wanting to grow is not normal. When you are within circles like that, the tendency that you are not going to be confident in the things that you're doing is very high. Okay, so environments also constitute part of what makes you be confident or not be confident. Okay, so really reviewing your environment. Who are the people who surround you? Who are the people you hang out with? You need to review your environment. You need to review the people within which you are hanging out with. Are they people who are able to challenge themselves enough to inspire you to challenge yourself to your greater place? Are the people who normalize being ambitious? Are they people who celebrate wins just like you would like to celebrate your wins? These are the things you need to look out for. How is your environment encouraging you to grow? How is your environment encouraging you to be more confident in yourself? Okay. So these are the things you want to look out for. These are the things you want to look out for. So in a nutshell, the core confidence model tells you that when you are clear about who you are, your confidence will grow. When you own your story, every part of your story, your confidence will grow. When you have repeated small wins and you embrace them, you celebrate them, you acknowledge them, your confidence will grow. And when you understand your environment and review your environment and make sure that the environment within which you're hanging out and you're doing things is such an environment that allows for growth, that allows you to challenge yourself more, that supports you in a way that makes you thrive in the things that you do, then your confidence will grow. Confidence is about trusting yourself and being honest with yourself. Okay, so confidence is not faking anything. It's about becoming confident through action. Confidence is on the other side of action. If you do not take the action, you're never going to be confident about, something that you're afraid of. But when you take the action, you do it, it is going to propel you to believe more in yourself and strive more and strive more. So you have to take the action, be compassionate with yourself, be clear, and keep supporting yourself.